Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of the Sideline Junkies, where everybody is saying Thursday night Throwdown. Yeah.
And as that beautiful introduction is had, I'd like to thank the Midnight Rider for riding with me tonight. We had to sneak the mothership out of the garage because we got to have it gassed up for Saturday. So we had to sneak it out of the garage without the People's Choice Don Rodriguez knowing. So welcome everybody. Hope everybody is had a wonderful Thursday. Me personally, I've had a great Thursday. I've had a nap. My wife made Bowberry biscuits. She cooked. I've had a nap, and I got paid to do nothing. So that's always a beautiful thing. Love it.
Gotta love those days, man.
Yes, indeed. First and foremost, first and foremost,
All right, take two. All right.
How you feeling tonight?
I'm good, man. I'm ready to go. Just keep an eye on the comments because there may be some things in the comments. That's all I'm gonna say. Just keep your eyes.
Always. All right, we're gonna run through this because we got a game starting at 8:20. It's already 7:44, so we are behind schedule. So
Omaha.
Here we go. First up, question of the night. If you follow Sideline Junkies podcast page and also a member of the Sideline Junkies 24/7 group, I've been going through posting stats of players and just saying, hey, Hall of Fame worthy or no. So it was a couple players that people guess who they were. I think the first was Chad Ochocinco, the second was Roger Craig, and the third was Al Toon. And I didn't want to put the names into it. I just wanted to say, are these players Hall of Fame worthy? But I thought about it. How do you measure Hall of Fame worthiness of an offensive lineman? And I threw this out. This is a Midnight Rider. I'm going to throw it over to you now. Please explain that.
No, I think, it's funny that you even brought it up because I've purposely abstained from this exercise because I didn't want to I didn't want to get into that because we already have an standing argument between the three of us about the Hall of Fame and what's Hall of Fame criteria and what's not. So I didn't even want to go into that category or that territory. But when it comes to the offensive lineman, I think this is one of the few times it's truly about the eye test. I mean, I think the Hall of Famers on the line. The Alan Fanekers. The Gary Zimmermans. You should have known Joe Chloe, but that's a whole other story and a whole different part of the thing. Anthony Munoz. There's a bunch of guys that are in the hall. A DeMonte Dawson. It's a bunch of guys that just when they played on the line, you knew that they were the best of the best. You'll see Trent Williams' name. Last year we had Joe Thomas. I mean, these are guys that just every time you watch football, you see them clear out space. Another person I think is Quentin Nelson for Indianapolis. I think he's another guy. Martin down in Dallas will probably get a shot at it. So when it comes to the lineman, I think it's more about reputation. But I think the biggest key is who is the person presenting you in front of the room and what national person is also a big fan of yours. Because I think that explains the issue for the Washington Commanders, Washington Redskins, and the Washington football team is early on, I think they didn't have the best representation in those meetings. Or it was a national guy with the DC vote. And, he didn't represent us the way we were supposed to be represented. We didn't get the big fights. Then you think about this team was a team. So you didn't have like these gargantuan superstars. For us, they were superstars. But for the league, Art Monk was Art Monk, but he wasn't like he was to us, to the rest of the league. People had respect for Art, but there wasn't a national thing. Like if they did an interview, they weren't interviewing Art Monk most of the time on TV, probably because he wasn't going to talk that much, but it wasn't their thing. So I think that's where the difference is, especially in the line part, especially the offensive lineman, is a lot of this is subjected to Pro Bowls, and then what's your national reputation?
Couple comments here. Ross, thank you for joining us. Glad you could be here tonight. Ang Watkins says, did you say 2 Steelers?
Yes, I said 2 Steelers.
Yeah, but number one.
This is the start. This is the start of it, okay? Just so you know, this is the start of it.
Number one, you mentioned 2 Steelers, and I think Dermontti Dawson. The Steelers have had 2 great centers and 1 good center.
Right.
In their history. And the 2 greats are Mike Webster, the other one is Dermontti Dawson. And Mike Webster's the one that taught Dermontti Dawson the daggone the ropes. And I wish Dermontti Dawson was around to teach which one was it? Maurice, it was Marquise. It was one of the pounds. But yeah. I wish he was around to teach him as well to keep that tradition going. But you know these guys, and it's like Larry Allen, strongest man in the NFL at one point in time, but the dude could run like a 4.5 40 at 370 pounds. He was a house. But when we come to offensive linemen, I thought about it. I said, how do you grade it? And I looked at Jerry Kramer, who just went in a couple of years ago. I knew who Jerry Kramer was when I was a kid, and I'd never seen the 60s Packers play.
Right. But there were also other people on that team that got the shine. You know, you had Horning. You had a bunch of guys from that team. I think some of the older teams, they run into a numbers crunch. Like, all right, how many of these guys are we going to let in? This whole team isn't a team of Hall of Famers. So where do we draw the line for the greats and the really goods? There's got to be a line somewhere in there where the greats get in and the really goods, not so much.
I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to get to some comments.
Oh, boy.
Look at the steel curtain.
Mm-hmm.
You got 4 players, and if you depend on where I'm catering to Pittsburgh now.
KG, you're killing me right now. You're killing me right now.
I know. I'm Pittsburgh right now. But do you consider the steel curtain the full front, the front 4, or do you consider the whole defense? Because if you consider the whole defense, your linebackers are Jack Ham, Lambert, and Andy Russell.
Right.
You know, of course, you got LC, Dwight White, Mean Joe Green, and Ernie Holmes. Then you got Mel Blount back there. What's the safety name? Mike Wagner. All those guys should be in the Hall of Fame, in my opinion. Because guess what? They were key pieces, key cogs to one of the greatest defenses ever. Then you switch over and this is me as a football fan. You look at the Dallas Doomsday defense. You look at Randy White and Harvey Martin, Jethro Pugh. And that was Randy White and Harvey Martin were Doomsday too. So you look at those Doomsday defenses and you got guys that should be in, but they don't, we know them because we're football fans, but
that's why they're not Hall of Famers.
And Ross said Donnie Shell as well. Donnie Shell just got in too. He just went in. But those guys passed the eye test. So Eric Willis said they need to take a voting away from sports writers. I agree with that wholeheartedly because many of them have an agenda, Peter King. I have a problem with him. There are enough members of the Hall of Fame that can vote for the players that they feel should be a part of their fraternity. And we losing a lot of them.
No. I think if anything, you split that, but it's not, it can't be all or nothing. You can't just have the players do it because a lot of players don't watch as much football as you think they do. And this is where you and I always talk about this. You're like, well, how come this guy don't know about this guy or this guy? It's because the guy's built into paying attention to his window between 1 and 4, and he's doing that job. And then most likely he's going home, chilling, playing with the kids and doing something else. He's not even watching football, certain guys. So that's why I don't trust the players to do it. Like I watched the NFL 100, and I really question how much of this is the actual players and how much of it is the network putting the list together based on the writers and all the guys they have on staff, and then being able to get a couple guys to be part of the show. Like for a while there, God, I gotta say another Pittsburgh player. But I was gonna say Ike, that cornerback from Swaggin. I can't think of Ike's last name now, and I really don't want to. But yeah, Ike was one of those. Ike Taylor was one of the guys. He would when NFL came to do that show, he was on multiple people's things. Like you thought he was part of the show. Like he literally would do 10 or 15 guys, like their backgrounds would start talking about him. So it was crazy. This year it was I saw a lot of John Allen. I saw Jahan. There was somebody else that they showed a lot, but it was like a couple guys that were like the core members of the show that really just were in the commentary for a lot of people. So yeah.
Ang Watkins says Pouncey will get in. I think both of them will get in eventually. I think both of them will get in.
I don't think they fit that. And that's where we have that line of demarcation, because I don't know if they get in, but we'll see.
Okay. Say go ahead and preach. I'm trying. I'm trying because I got love for those 70s defense of the Steelers and the 90s defense as well.
So let me ask you this. Would you be a bigger fan? You know how they have the contributors wing? Maybe they should have a wing of, because I don't think all, like the steel curtain, but you consider the defense of the front four. You can't get all 11 of those guys in the Hall of Fame. And then what guys you leave out? You have role players. So I'm thinking maybe you do. So I'm thinking somebody like do something like, see, with the Hogs. You put the Hogs as a group in the Hall of Fame because of their dominance during their time frame. And maybe you put the plaque up and you put all the guys that were members of those groups. You know, you get the Steel Curtain. You put the names of the guys from Steel Curtain. Doomsday Defense. You put those guys up. And they have like a, I don't know if I want to call it the names wing, but kind of just some of the history of the league based on some of the nicknames.
I can see that.
Because that way you can get all of those guys in, but not all 11 of those guys are Hall of Famers.
But here's a question. Will it still be as prestigious as getting a gold jacket?
I mean, they got to share it. You got to treat it like the Stanley Cup. Like this week is at the Shays house. Next week is at Mark May's house. I don't know how you do that, because we're talking about something that's really, unless you get a groundswell, it's not really going to happen. Because I think they want to keep it to the individuals. So that's the other reason why I don't think, like what we're talking about is a good thing to have in the conversation, but I just don't think it's going to be something that's going to come to fruition.
All right. And Ross says Donnie Shell just went in. Ang Watkins says keep preaching. Eric Wheeler says the purple people eaters. I'll see your purple people eaters, and I'll up you the fearsome foursome.
Right.
And I agree with both of them. I agree. And I know Carl Eller's in, and I know Alan Page is in. I know they're in. I don't know about everybody else.
No, I think those are the only two that are in.
Ross says, why isn't Andy Russell in?
Because he was a cog in it, but he wasn't the. You think about this, and I'm gonna say it this way because you're the historian, so I know you're gonna say this differently. But when you think of the linebackers of the Steelers, the first two are Ham and Lambert. Yeah, you really don't give Russell a thought in the process.
Well,
and I think that's where. Say that again.
He was the old dog. Remember, he was the old guy there.
Right, but still, the glitz and the glamour went to those two.
Yeah, because those were your early draft picks under Noel. But Andy Russell was there when they were bad, and he said that Chuck Noel told him the first time he met him, he said, "You know, I'm gonna make you a better linebacker. You're too reckless. You're always trying to make the play." But he was their best player before everybody else got there. Still, so I'm just I test. Ang says, Mr. Wheeler, don't be like that. You're hating. And yep, we were talking about Ike Taylor. Leroy chimes in. He said, come on, pop up.
Here we go. If you have that
question, is he a Hall of Famer? And if you have to do some serious thinking about it, the question to the answer is no. He is not a Hall of Famer.
Thank you.
Damn. I ain't never heard it put like that.
We say that all the time. If you
That's whoo. Eric says, "Hey Ben, let me find out our favorite Steelers fan is using the alias."
Yes, indeed.
Oh shoot. Ang says Harrison will get in. I believe so. I believe Harrison will get in. Ross says he likes that. My man Zazie in.
Yeah.
He said, "What about Ed Too Tall Jones?" I said, and this is crazy because you can tell this is one of my kids. That's all I'm gonna say. You can tell this is one of my kids. Ed Too Tall Jones, for everything that he was, everything that he did, only 106 sacks. But you also got to remember they didn't start keeping sacks until 1982. So I think he had a really, really good career, but I don't think it's going to be a while before they vote him in. Ross says Andy Russell was more than a cog. I believe that. Ang says Russell was all pro before everyone else. He was the dog. He was the dog. The boss BJ checking in from home. Y'all know how I feel about the Hall of Fame. Yeah. He also says they should take some people out. We said that about the 50 greatest. When we revised that list, we had a 6-day long conversation about that. Eric Wheeler says, I have a better argument. Dexter Manley. Compare his numbers to Howie Long. I think the only thing that's keeping Dexter Manley out is the off the field stuff. That's what's keeping him out. What did he suffer? He suffered 2 bans. I think he's on a lifetime ban now. So I would love it, but unless they lift that ban, I mean, he's a great redemption story, but unless they lift that ban, I don't see it happening. Hold on. We got one more comment here. Then they should have kept Irvin out, is what the boss BJ said. That should have kept Irvin out.
Yeah, because Irvin never really missed time during the season. He was never suspended because of the league's policy. He just had a crazy lifestyle. I mean, those guys have lifestyles. It's just the difference was Dexter got caught up in the league's policy. So that's the only reason he may not be in. Another reason is, again, I don't think Washington's represented very well at these meetings for the Hall of Fame because there's some guys that should be in. I mean, perfect example is Brian Mitchell. It's a guy that should be in the hole, but for some reason you just can't get him in there. So, and I was thinking maybe if Hester goes in, then it makes sense that you put Mitchell in, because maybe Hester has to be the Ray guy, the return specialist, and to get everybody else in the Hall of Fame.
See, that's a whole nother conversation that pisses me off because we talk about guys in the eye test, and I remember a gentleman I used to work with. I give him a big shout out, Eagles fan Kevin Marshall. He said, "But did Mitchell have a position?" I said, "Yeah, he was your 3rd down running back." I said, "But the dude he's number 2 in all-purpose yards all time." I said, "Everybody else in that top 10 list is either going to the Hall of Fame or already in. You don't come in behind, and he's not that far behind Jerry Rice."
Yeah, I mean, but you got to also think about, that Bears team, and I think this is where Hester stands out, is because that Bears team offensively was strapped. And I literally would get the Bears defense. It's the only time I drafted a defense above like the 5th or 6th round is because I would get the Bears defense to go with my team because they would score more points than most offenses in some situations. You could get a touchdown, maybe 2 touchdowns out of them because of their defense and because of Hester. And I think Hester did his. He has the return from the Super Bowl, and then he's got a couple other returns, like the one I think it was a Tampa game or something like that. They came back and won because of Hester. So he has like moments where he stole the show completely, and because of the ineptitude of the Bears offense, he really carried them to some victories. And I know Brian has had some big plays, some big games, but I think that's the biggest difference to me. And plus, he's more recent. We always say, if it happened after a certain time period, it doesn't register for everybody else. And I think B Mitch is falling in that category.
Ross says, what about Charles Mann?
No.
All right, go through these and we got to go on. That's not supposed to play the part. If LT and Mike Irvin got in, my favorite player, crackhead LT from North Carolina, lifetime crackhead, love it. Joe Jacoby, Jerry Smith, B Mitch, Dexter Manley. Crazy thing is Hester couldn't do shit else on the field. That's true. Mitch could play the other positions he could, and Hester was elite. And the Showtime special about him was okay.
Yep.
All right, we gotta jump off this real quick. This news right here pissed me off. Not even gonna lie. God damn it, we glitching tonight, boy. It's glitch over.
You good? You got Deion versus Norvell.
Deion versus Norvell. Colorado State head coach decided to call out Deion and say, when I talk to adults, I take my hat and my glasses off. Dog, why did you have to say that? Why?
You don't know why he said that? You really don't know why?
No.
Who's coming there this weekend?
I get that. I get all of that, but here's my thing. As a man,
coming there this weekend. And Colorado, think about this. Last week, in the middle of the Colorado game against Nebraska, the big Fox Big Ten kickoff show or whatever it's called was scheduled to go to Illinois for the Penn State Illinois game. That's where they were supposed to be. At halftime, they said the broadcasting is going to do the game, but the pregame show is coming back to Colorado again. They're going to ride this hype train, this money train, as long as they can. And I think they get Oregon next. And if that's not on one of those channels, they complained about Deion and his methods. But now that they see as a cash maker, everybody's sitting in line with their hands out. And this coach saw this as an opportunity for him. He knows his name is going to be mentioned. He's going to be on Sports Center. He's going to be on First Take. He's going to be on Last Take. He's going to be on Undisputed. He's going to be on, I don't know, Frozen Pizza or First Pizza or whatever it's called. Whatever those shows are, he's going to have a feature because they're going to talk about this. This is probably going to be somebody's B block tomorrow.
Yeah.
It can't be A because of the game.
I think it was unnecessary.
It was very unnecessary, but it serves the purpose because now he gets his name in the headlines. He gets to get talked about. He gets the attention dollars, as the junkies call it, the sports junkies call it. We don't have a saying like that, but the sports junkies call it attention dollars. And that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to cash in.
Now, what happens, because last week against Nebraska, they tried to pull that stunt where they went in the middle of the field and tried to be on the Buffalo. So Shador Sanders got out there and started working out. Get up out of here. Now, what happens if Colorado comes in and they throttle them like 69-0? Then what? When you got a bear in the cage, don't poke the bear.
If they come in and they get beat bad, you know what's going to happen? Prom's going to sit down. He's going to take his hat off and his glasses off and talk for a little bit and then put them on and keep going with the rest of the day. Because he's got enough petty in his system that he's gonna deal with it, but he's gonna go on from it.
Okay. Ross said no one had heard of him before this. Nah, because I'm like, I had to go look his name up. They was like, what's his name? Jerry Norvell, Aaron Neville. Who? That's what I said. I was like, who is this?
Who?
Ang says the white man is never going to allow the headliner to outdo him. Of course. Before we switch gears, jump back real quick. Ross brung this stat up, and I love it. All-purpose yards, Jerry Rice, 23,546. Mitchell, 23,3 330. Walter Payton, 21,803. Numbers don't lie. That's all I'm gonna say, baby. Moving right along because we got to get ready to get up out of here. 2024 Olympic basketball. LeBron saying he's committed. Dwight Howard says, "Hey, pick me or I'm going to Taiwan and drop 85 on y'all." AD say he's committed. They talking about all of this, but here's my thing. Why not have this same energy for the FIBA championships?
Because it's not important. Like FIBA, we've never really sent your top teams to FIBA. They used to send the college kids.
Yeah, and the college kids used to dominate.
Yeah, but we ain't in that league no more.
No, we're not. Because the college kids don't have the fundamentals to play on the world stage.
Yes, indeed. So I think it's gonna be a bad idea because I think this is the point where some of the stars, the top level guys, need to step out of the way and let these younger guys get this experience and get this going.
You had a formula, but you had great college players like Chris Webber's and Tate George at the time. He was a good college player, not a great pro. Grant Hill. You had all these guys that you could send overseas because you had a great pool of talent. And now we get guys, and the way this team was constructed, it was just like, what are you doing? You need top level guys. You need guys that can actually play in a team structure, not go and play hero ball.
But the top guys didn't want to show. They didn't want to play. That's how Austin Reeves is up there. That's how you end up with Brandon Ingram and guys like that. You got the second tier guys, and technically that should be good enough, but it wasn't. So that's the problem you have when you had this kind of setup. And I just hated that they have to do this, and then now we're gonna have this whole big thing about LeBron and them going to Paris, and we gotta hear the whole story, and then we gotta get a documentary out of it because we had one for the Redeem team. So yeah,
but good. You know what the Redeem team did? That documentary and the Redeem team exposed a lot. Because I remember BJ sent me a thing, and he was like, "Well, what the Redeem team was 08." He was saying 04 was that bronze year, but you know, LeBron got to take that because LeBron didn't do this and LeBron didn't do that. LeBron didn't play. Him, Carmelo, and I think they didn't play a whole lot.
They were add-ins because of their deals with the shoe companies and all that.
Yeah,
so they were forced on that team, and then of course that team was led by one of the most bullheaded coaches in the world, Larry Brown. So Larry Brown tried to treated them like they were outcasts, and because they didn't fit his system or play his system. There's a quote from Larry Brown saying that what did he say? I think he said Carmelo Anthony couldn't guard a lamppost. So yeah,
that's why I always say, stop putting certain things on people's jacket. You can't put that on LeBron. Then they come back in 08 and they expose the work ethic. After that Kobe talking about, all right, I'll go out with y'all. We can stay out. But then at 4 a.m, he like, all right, let's go work out. Everybody started getting up, going to work out. Melo was like, I ain't doing that. I wasn't getting up that early. I ain't doing that shit. You got shit work ethic and you just proved it. All the talent in the world and you have shit work ethic. We're getting ready to fall right back into that again. Once they start letting pros get in, it should be, I love when they went to the 4-year commitment. Give me a 4-year commitment. You're playing FIBA, the World. You playing all these things every summer. Give me a 4-year commitment if you're healthy. That's it. I hope they don't do all of this. Put a team together and get embarrassed.
Oh, then they'll get what they deserve, and then everybody's gonna be like, America is no longer the most dominant team in the country or in the world.
All right. Quick comments. Ang says Colorado should go and try to score 300 points on his ass. I agree with that. Numbers do lie. Kirk Cousins, great numbers, no Hall of Famer. Oh man, 4,000 yard seasons though. AD thinks he's gonna play point guard. AD better hope that he not made of fucking glass by 2024 because they're gonna have to replace him. Can we rebuild him? You know, $6 million man. All right, piece of resistance. What we came here for. Eagles versus Vikings. I throw it over to the Midnight Rider because he's going to use FanDuel, our line.
All right, there we go.
Our entertainment and line partner, they don't know it yet, but we love using FanDuel to come to you for the lines of the night. So let's go.
As we always do, the Sideline Junkies are using FanDuel's lines for our information session here. So we do not have a sponsorship, but hey, we're willing if you're willing. So here we go. Philly is favored -5.5. The over under is 48.5. And if you like anything, there's a couple of prop bets, probably anytime touchdown score. Jalen Hurts is a +100 and Justin Jefferson is a +115. So you got some stuff out there tonight. I would take a Justin Jefferson anytime touchdown, but I wouldn't touch any Minnesota running back in this game. And now that I say that, they'll probably have like 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. But the reason I say that is because their center, Bradbury's out. So you want to have Carter and Davis going against some of their backups, and their guard position isn't one of their strong points. So you may see the Eagles D tackles feasting tonight in a situation. And then offensively, let me stay on the defense. The other thing is they have Bradbury in the secondary that's hurt for the Eagles. So you gotta be careful because they blew some assignments last week against New England, and that's how New England got back in the ball game. So it's a situation where there may be something where Minnesota through the air can get in the ball game, but their running game probably won't help them too much. What about you, Kay?
It hurts my heart to say it, but I'm taking the lesser of two evils here. I guess I'll take Philly, and I think Philly's a complete team, and of course, they got to work themselves into a lather. But Philly's gonna put up some numbers tonight.
And then go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think this is not gonna be a close game at all. I think we're talking 38-13 over early. Like, go to bed because they're not coming back.
So then you're calling for a replay of last year when they played on Monday night in week 2. It's ironic they're playing Thursday night on week 2 this year. So they get the prime time game, but I think you're completely correct. It looks like they got Michael Buffer doing the let's get ready to rumble on the field before the game. But yeah, I think I totally believe you in this. I got Philly. I got them with the -5.5, like you said, and I think it goes over the 45.5 because I think, like you said, I think Philly's gonna have like 38. It's gonna be 38-13 or something like that. I don't think they're a good matchup for this version of the Vikings.
It ain't gonna be no shootout. It ain't gonna be 17-16.
No, it's gonna be a mollywop. All right, we got to kick off.
All right, and Leroy says, "I can't believe I'm betting on Kirk Cousins Vikings plus the 5.5." So,
hey, Lee, shoot me something if you got anything this weekend, college or pro. I need one pick from somebody. And actually, we might need to do that as a group. Maybe we do a Junkies account and we do a parlay together or something for the weekend. Okay. We can talk about that in the chat.
All right. So it's kickoff time. We did it. It's time to wrap that shit up, B. Final thoughts before we roll out of here.
Philly's on the field. Hey, thanks for everybody that's in the comments. Don't forget on YouTube, like and subscribe. If I didn't tag you today and you watching, remind me because this old mind doesn't work like it used to. So enjoy the game, and we look forward to seeing you Saturday with the WrestleManiacs and then Sunday with the Sunday Rise.
Indeed. So y'all know the motto, baby. Hold on, we got a couple comments before we run out of here. I don't be ignoring y'all comments at the end. Take the Orioles.
And, yeah, it was. I knew you couldn't go the whole show without it.
And Ross says, "Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. Appreciate you too, Ross." Like we always say at this time, I go for my we don't do no overtime, y'all. We are out of here.